So,
The table.
we have a few minutes.
I don't think I'm gonna do
Who
it.
has a quick, something you want to say about the exercise, or a quick question, or anything? How many of you found something a little interesting in your exploration? Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. All right. Anybody like to share a little, short little something? Yes.
In our exercise, we discovered that the thing we found annoying in the other person was the mirror opposite of what we found annoying in the other person. In other words, what annoyed her was what I was like, and what I found annoying was what she was like.
Good.
Great. We've been friends for years.
Sounds like fun. Cool. Anyone else? Yes.
Well, I really felt like the physical motion was where it became key. Like,
Yeah.
was where I could find what I was doing. If I hadn't been looking at, and that, the whole, I was really surprised how much, for both of us, as soon as we found that motion, it was like, oh.
Yeah.
There was just, it was so, just changed the whole thing.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that, because this is a funny thing. I mean, I've only learned one way of working with essence work, but going from a disturbing energy to the essence of thing, for whatever reason, movement is a fantastic way to explore it. Sometimes when we just use our mind, we can get really lost in a thing. Movement's a fantastic way to explore it. There was someone, you first and then you, okay? Yes.
I was just struck by, it wasn't so much, a little bit the motion, but just realizing that what I found so offensive in them, and denying and invalidating, actually was coming from their enormous helplessness and vulnerability.
Oh, what a fantastic insight. Wow. You might find that that's something that can actually start to change or even transform a relationship, because maybe you're right, and that could be a place where understanding starts to take hold. Wonderful, good for you, yay. Thanks for that. Yes?
Mine was within it's about me, it was about me, and then it morphed into it's about me,
Yeah,
so that it was like an opening in my heart instead of
Wow.
it
beautiful.
was in the movement too. So
Wow,
it was cool.
wonderful. That's again something that maybe it can be like more of an opening into this person or your connection.
Right.
Wonderful, good work,
Yeah.
thanks for that.
So I didn't quite get that. It's about.
Well, you didn't see the
Oh, I'm
gesture.
sorry, I was gonna, it's about me. The attitude was about, the person feels like it's about me, but as I got into the essence of it, my hand started rubbing my own heart instead of,
Oh, cool.
so that I would take care of me.
Oh, I
It's
see.
about taking care of me.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was a
Yeah,
gift.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah, wonderful. Yeah. Anyone else? You know, feel something? Yeah, so here's the thing. This thing about walking a mile in someone's shoes, it's something that I know for myself, I don't practice it enough. But on the times when I do practice it, it makes a difference. So I'd suggest, if this appeals to you, you were a little bit encouraged from your exploration tonight, for example, practice it a little bit. Think about the different situations you're in, different people, conflicts, tensions, what have you, and you can play with it. Or if you're a facilitator or a leader or something where you're dealing with group dynamics in families and teams, what have you, it's a great skill to play with the different energies, perspectives, styles, etc. that may exist. And it could give you, you might find it may give you more fluidity and openness to the groups that you're working with. I invite you. Yeah, Gary.
So I have a question. This may be more than you want to deal with right now, but I'm a little bit confused because
Okay.
there's like, really what you're encouraging us to do is sort of make this empathic bond with the other, basically,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, sure.
And, but then at the same time,
Well, but kind of, you're making an empathic bond kind of with yourself via an energy that either is from another person or appears to come from another person.
right, great. But then there's this other side, which is sort of like in political movements where you're needing to stand up against oppression.
Absolutely.
Or like you're saying, in a group, if you feel like you're being marginalized, you'll fight.
That's right,
And so
absolutely.
When do you work this other process? And
It's a
when
great
you find-
question. It's a great question. I think you have to follow your own signals and dreaming process, because sometimes the process suggests this is the time to fight, and I'm gonna do it, and you fight. Sometimes we don't fight enough. And sometimes it's also a moment where you fought, you really stood up fully for your own side, but maybe there's something, for example, about the other that you feel like you haven't been open enough to. And you think, okay, I'm still gonna fight, but I also want to get to know the other a little bit more, especially as that other may reflect something inside myself, for example. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. Sometimes I think working with the other can help enhance your ability to fight. Because how many of you have experienced this, for example, like in social activism work, where you get polarized, but after a while, after months or years, you also get burned out. And you know that one? Yeah. So here's the thing, sometimes we get too one-sided, and there's something about being too one-sided that lends itself to burnout. Whereas if we can get onto one side, but we can also get onto the other side, and again with this idea of wholeness, that maybe there's something bigger that can hold the conflict and the polarity, and we find that in that wholeness, there's not a question anymore of sustainability of burnout. I feel like in my wholeness, I understand this part, I understand that part, and I can just keep rolling for infinity, you might find. But sometimes we have to really strongly go into one side, really strongly go into the other side. But here's one of the funny things about doing a lot of self and other work, is you might find that doing it a lot, you notice that there's something larger that in a sense is doing the different roles. It's almost like you're a big whack-a-mole kind of platform, and you just sometimes do this and you sometimes do that, but there's something larger in the background that is open to diversity, including some really nasty stuff. And that sometimes can be a way to do sustainable activism work over time. I love your question, I don't think it's that. So anyway, folks, it's 9 o'clock. Thank you so much, I really appreciate it. And thanks to the men from Occupy Santa Rosa. If you'd like to leave a little bit of money for the organization, please put it in the pot. Thank you.
And do sign our